You are welcome to yet another episode of HN What's Your Say? The #1 listening show, where we discuss real issues with real people like you. We are still featuring R. Kelly. Real name Robert Sylvester Kelly. Also known as the R&B King. As R. Kelly's legal team intensifies its lawsuit against gossip blogger Tasha K and high-ranking Bureau of Prisons officials accused of conspiring to leak his private prison communications, the world is asking one question: if he wins this case, could it overturn his previous convictions? This episode breaks down the legal terrain, the misconduct that could unravel past verdicts, and why R. Kelly's legal team believes they now hold the upper hand. R. Kelly's lawsuit accuses Tasha K and individuals within the Bureau of Prisons of violating his constitutional rights by leaking his personal and legally protected prison communications while he was being held at the Metropolitan Correctional Center in Chicago. These communications included phone calls, emails, and restricted visitors logs. Materials that are protected under the law, especially when they involve conversations with legal counsel. This wasn't just an accidental leak or a whistleblower trying to expose wrongdoing. According to court filings, the BOP officer at the center of this controversy was allegedly working with Tasha K in a deliberate effort to release sensitive and private material that had no legal justification to be shared. These leaks occurred while R. Kelly was facing federal prosecution, and they were used to smear his name in the media, potentially sway public opinion, and even taint jurors before trial. But here's where the implications grow serious. If the leaks are proven to have violated attorney-client privilege or prejudiced the court of public opinion prior to trial, R. Kelly's team could argue that his constitutional right to a fair trial was systematically compromised, potentially rendering the entire trial process unjust.
He had every right to be able to be confident that the BOP would protect his information and not exploit it. But unfortunately, certain BOP officers did just that. He does not to this day feel comfortable speaking to anyone, including his own lawyers, because of the impact of this event.
Under the U.S. Constitution, every criminal defendant is guaranteed a fair trial under the 5th and 6th Amendments. This includes the right to private communication with legal counsel and the right to be tried before an impartial jury uninfluenced by outside factors. If government actors such as employees of the Bureau of Prisons are found to have willfully violated this, it introduces a significant due process violation. Courts have thrown out entire convictions in the past where such violations occurred, especially when the misconduct was tied to the prosecution or investigative arms of the government. This case presents something that could be argued as outrageous government conduct, which under U.S. legal doctrine is a basis for dismissing indictments or overturning convictions, particularly when that conduct contributes to the prejudicing of the defendant or the manipulation of evidence or jury perception. Now consider how this information was weaponized. Tasha K's online platform, watched by millions, was used as a public dumping ground for illegally obtained content. Her audience was fed unfiltered, often misleading commentary on R. Kelly's prison behavior, emotional state, and supposed communications. None of this should have been available to the public, and yet it was broadcasted widely, and undeniably created a media firestorm.
You're listening to personal phone calls, you're listening to recordings, that's between he and his attorney. That's not right. That's not right.
In high-profile cases, courts have long acknowledged the danger of pretrial publicity. If media narratives become so dominant that jurors are likely to have preconceived biases, then the defendant is no longer being judged by an impartial jury of peers but rather by a public mob. R. Kelly's attorneys can now argue that the jury pool in both the New York and Chicago cases was irreversibly tainted by illegal leaks amplified by a YouTuber with malicious intent. That's not just unethical. It's unconstitutional. Let's zoom in a bit on the original convictions. In New York, R. Kelly was convicted of RICO charges and Mann Act violations. Both serious federal offenses normally used to prosecute mobsters and human traffickers. The problem is neither charge matched the factual conduct in his case. As many legal analysts have pointed out, the RICO statute was stretched beyond recognition to fit R. Kelly's charges. There was no criminal enterprise in the classical sense, and the use of the Mann Act, a law originally passed to prevent the transportation of women across state lines for prostitution, was manipulated to retroactively punish lifestyle decisions that had no direct criminality. Now combine these misapplied legal standards with the fact that the public, including jurors, were bombarded with illegally leaked information from Tasha K and the BOP. It's a recipe for injustice and precisely why this lawsuit is so important. A ruling in Kelly's favor will not only confirm that government actors conspired to violate his rights, it will also reopen the discussion about how these violations may have infected the original prosecutions. R. Kelly's appeal team, led by Jennifer Bonjean, is already challenging his convictions based on due process violations, misapplication of federal statutes, and jury bias. A legal win in this new civil case would add enormous weight to those arguments. Imagine a scenario where a federal judge agrees that Kelly's legal strategy was compromised by leaked private communications. His character was publicly destroyed using illegally obtained data. Government officials were complicit in that destruction. In such a case, appellate judges could find that Kelly's rights were so severely violated that his convictions cannot stand. The law is clear: if the integrity of a trial is compromised by constitutional violations, the only remedy is a new trial, or in some cases complete dismissal. There's strong legal precedent to support this possibility. In United States v. Morrison, the Supreme Court ruled that intentional interference with the attorney-client relationship by government actors could be grounds for dismissal if it prejudices the defense. In United States v. Chapman, the court dismissed an indictment outright due to outrageous prosecutorial misconduct. There are also multiple cases where courts reversed convictions due to excessive pretrial publicity fueled by improper government leaks. R. Kelly's team only needs to show that the leaks led to prejudice, which they can, given how viral and damaging the Tasha K leak was. If Kelly wins this lawsuit, several dominoes could fall. The court will officially recognize that the BOP violated his rights. That alone triggers appealable grounds. The civil case can be used to introduce new evidence in criminal appellate courts, especially if discovery uncovers internal emails, phone logs, or payment trails showing coordination between BOP staff and Tasha K. If appeal avenues are exhausted, this lawsuit could help R. Kelly file a federal habeas corpus petition alleging unlawful imprisonment due to constitutional violations. A powerful legal route to overturn conviction. A win casts a shadow over the entire prosecution narrative. If BOP officers violated the law behind the scenes, what else was tainted? If Tasha K or government employees are forced to testify under oath, it could expose broader misconduct, perjury, or conflicts of interest that further weaken the original cases. Some critics try to downplay this lawsuit as a mere publicity stunt, but that's far from the truth. This case is a legal scalpel cutting directly into the heart of how R. Kelly was prosecuted. Meanwhile, this isn't just about proving Tasha K is a malicious blogger. It's about proving the government assisted her in destroying R. Kelly's constitutional protections. That is all we had for you today on HN What's Your Say? To keep updated whenever we post a new video, subscribe to this channel now. Also remember to hit the bell icon and enable notifications. And feel free to share your opinions with us in the comment section below, and let us know if you would like us to publish your views in our next release. We value all our subscribers' opinions.